Okay, so today I'm going to be doing an experiment called the sinking soda surprise. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try some cans of soda and see if they sink or float in water and why. So first I'm going to try this Sprite. Let's see what happens. It sinks. Let's try Coca-Cola. It also sinks. But what about orange soda? And once again it sinks. And let's try ginger ale. Once I got it off the orange soda, it starts sinking, sort of. And now, I think you're starting to notice an obvious pattern. So let's try Diet Coke. And it floats. And now this is why. So the reason that all the other sodas sink except for the Diet Coke is because they all have about 150 calories, and they get those calories from sugar. And sugar is much heavier than aspartame, which is what they put in Diet Coke to make it instead of sugar. Do you know why most of the sodas sink but the diet soda floats? Well, this is why. The density of a soda can is the mass divided by the volume, and you know the volume of the cans is all the same. So it's 355 milliliters, so the only variable left is the mass. The mass has to change, and it does. If you put a regular soda and a diet soda on a double pan balance scale, you can see that the regular soda is much heavier. And if you look at the nutrition facts for both the diet soda and the regular soda, you can tell that the regular soda has about 150 calories, where the diet has 0. The regular soda gets those calories from sugar. Lots of it. Did you know that when most people have a cup of tea, they add in at least 2 to 3 packets of sugar, but when you drink a regular soda, you are having about 10 packets of sugar. So hopefully this experiment will put you off soda for a while. Anyway, the diet soda is lighter because it has a lighter artificial sweetener called aspartame. So the mass and therefore the density of a can of soda actually depends on the amount of sugar or sweetener used. Okay, so now I have another question for you, or more, 2 questions. Will adding salt to the bucket change the results? And if so, how much salt does it take to change the results? Well, let's try. I'm going to start by adding 1/4 of a cup of salt. So now, let's add the salt. So first off, we have Sprite. It still sinks, but even slower than before. Now what about Coca-Cola? It also sinks slower than before. What about orange soda? Once again, it sinks slower. What about ginger ale? It floats. And the reason I'm not testing the Diet Coke is because, as I will explain later, once it floats, it will stay floating. And now I'm going to try 1/2 cup of salt. Now I'm going to add even more salt. Okay, first, as always, is Sprite. As you can see, it sinks, but really slowly. Now let's try the orange soda. Once again, it also sinks, and also very slowly. Now let's try Coca-Cola. Very, very slowly, it also sinks. And so now I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of salt. Now I'm going to add even more salt. Okay, now we're down to our final 3 contestants. First, as usual, is Sprite. Slowly, it floats. Now let's try Coca-Cola. Very, very slowly, it also floats. And now let's try orange soda. And it sinks. Now I'm going to add, with just the orange soda, another 1/4 cup of salt. Now I'm going to add even more salt. So, let's see if the orange crush, or the orange soda, finally floats in a cup of salt, in a water with a cup of salt. Hooray! It floats! And now this is why the results changed and why it takes so long. So the reason the results change and why it's different for each soda has to do with the density of the water. Normally, water has a density of 1 gram per milliliter. So anything more dense than that sinks, and anything less than dense than that floats. But when you add salt to the water, the water becomes more dense, and the more salt you add, the denser the water becomes, until eventually it passes the density of the soda. The reason the sodas sink at different times is because each of the sodas has a different amount of sugar. Ginger ale has 35 grams, Coca-Cola has 39 grams, Sprite has 38 grams, orange soda has 43 grams, and Diet Coke has 0 grams. So the more sugar, the longer it takes to float. Anyway, that was the sinking soda surprise. I hope you enjoyed.